Hi, welcome back to Whitehead Monkton's podcast. My name is Mary. I'm a trainee solicitor currently in the Tax and Estate Department, and I'm joined with my colleague, Izzy.
Hi, my name is Izzy. I'm also a trainee solicitor and I'm currently in the commercial property team.
So on this pod, we're just going to be talking a little bit about training contract applications, a bit about the process, what is involved, what is needed. So to start it off, Izzy will be going through the structure of the firm.
Yeah, so it's going to be tailored obviously to our firm, and our firm's a little bit different because Whitehead Monkton is a limited company. So instead of having partners, we have directors, and then obviously we have an executive board of directors, and we have a managing director who is Chris Longdon. And then obviously alongside underneath the directors, we have solicitors and legal executives, and then below them are us, the trainee solicitors and the trainee legal executives. And then every department also has their own secretaries and paralegals as well.
Just a little bit about the academic background involved. So the usual academic process required for a training contract is an undergraduate degree that is usually in law. And then this is followed by the legal practice course, also known as the LPC. So if you complete another degree which isn't law, so for example, you do history or major in art, you can do a GDL, which is a law conversion course, and then proceed to do the LPC.
Yeah, one of our trainees actually did exactly that. He has a degree in history, so it's not a barrier to you at all. And then the application process itself, generally they'll ask you for a CV and then they send you an application form to fill in, and they ask that you write a covering letter. So that's kind of step one. And then if you're successful in step one, they ask you to attend an assessment day. And I mean, every aspiring trainee knows what an assessment day is. They're horrendous. It's just a full day of tests and presentations, and you kind of discuss different topics, and then there's always going to be a part of the day where you're networking with the directors and the current trainees of the firm, and you might have lunch, and then after lunch you might do some more group problem solving and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of networking and a lot of discussion based activities.
Yeah,
really.
It does tend to be so you can get some of the tests online. That's a good tip just to do beforehand, just to relieve some of the nerves so you know what to expect, because it can be a full day and you can get quite nervous. But once you do those tests and have some preparation, it does go a long way to help as well. But yeah, if you are successful on the assessment day, then you'll be invited to an interview. This is usually with two directors and it's about 45 minutes long. But you'll be asked a variety of questions. It's just a general conversation. So try to be yourself and not overthink too much, because one of the most important things is making sure that your personality comes across, because that's what the firm wants. To know that you're a good fit for them and then them for you, and vice versa, essentially.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier actually, and actually, obviously you're going to be nervous, but the more relaxed you can make yourself, the more comfortable you're going to be and the more you're going to be, and that's essentially all anyone's looking for. It's just to see sort of who you are. And then obviously if you're more comfortable, you're going to talk about things that you enjoy and you might have things in common with other people that are there, and just try and enjoy it and get the most out of it as you possibly can. I think.
Agreed. And also, as part of your training contract, if you are successful and you are offered a training contract with Whitehead Monkton, you have to do seat rotations. So typically the seats are in commercial property, dispute resolution, corporate, employment, tax and estate planning, and family. You have to do at least one contentious seat, which is either the dispute resolution or family seat. And it does vary, but trainees do tend to do 3 seats of approximately 6 months before returning to the area that they think they want to specialise in.
Yeah, but it's not like a must you have to do that. They are quite flexible and they take your choices into account. I'm not going to do that, I don't think. Do you want to do that?
If I'm unsure and I want to do an area that I think I may enjoy, I think I might do that instead. But if I know by the time I'm about to qualify, I think I may just join the department that I'm looking to qualify into and just have that transition period.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think it just depends, because you just never know, do you? Like at this stage, it's all
you're just trying things out.
You just take it in. So yeah, it just depends on what I'm at, the stage I'm at that time, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Oh, and
Yeah.
also one thing to note, we do have offices in different areas, so in Maidstone, Canterbury and Tenterden. So you may be required to do a seat in a different office. So currently I'm doing my seat in the Tenterden office. So that's just something to be aware about.
Yeah, and I was kind of split in between offices because my first seat was in dispute resolution, so that was split between the Canterbury office and the Maidstone office. So it's just something to be aware, is be flexible and
Yeah.
be open-minded, and
Yeah.
everyone in every office is
Absolutely
absolutely lovely.
Yeah. Definitely.
So obviously if you are successful and you are a trainee at Whitehead Moncton, firstly, well done. And then secondly, the kind of work that you're going to be doing really does depend on the department that you're in. So typically the first seat isn't something that you would choose. It's sort of on a needs basis.
Yeah.
So my first seat was in dispute resolution, as I said, and I absolutely loved it. But the work there, because it's a contentious seat, is going to be a lot different to, for example, where Mary is in tax and estate and private client. So yeah, it really depends on the department that you're in, and it depends as well whether the work you're doing is transactional. So, for example, currently I'm in commercial property, and it's really transactional. It's a whole set of new processes to learn, and sort of learning how to deal with the finances and things like that. So a lot of the work revolves around those kind of things instead. But generally, in every department, the kind of things that you're going to be doing are attending meetings and taking notes, and then after the meetings, doing the attendance notes and things like that. You'll be drafting various different documents and letters, and that could be to solicitors on the other side, or agents, or clients. And then also research, because believe it or not, no one knows everything. So you do get asked to research things. And that actually can be really good exercises.
Yeah.
I've learned so much just from doing research for various solicitors. And then also, depending on the seat, you might be asked to attend court. So if you're in family or dispute resolution, you might have to go to hearings. And I know that in my litigation seat, I think I went to about 4 or 5. And then also you can go to mediations as well, which are also really interesting. And it's just a different kind of work day, really. But you get to watch and observe and see how the barristers work. And we don't have in-house barristers, so that can be a really interesting day. And then also you can have a bit more responsibility, and you might be asked to run some files, but you're always under supervision, and the file's always going to be in the name of the fee earner. So
it takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah, it is responsibility, but it's not the be all and end all. You are still allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah,
obviously,
we are learning.
Try not to, but yeah you're learning, and it's inevitable. It's going to happen, and that is how you learn. Yeah. And also, whatever kind of work that you do, you might be doing that work for multiple solicitors at once. So someone might ask you to do one thing, and another solicitor might ask you to do something, and it'll all be across several different files. So you need to learn to be flexible, and you need to be able to manage
your workload
100%, and multiple different things at once, which can be a bit of a learning curve, I think.
But I think it's really important to do what works best for you. So I personally I make lists. I just love my lists. So I've got a diary which I keep track of my workload, and I've also got one on the computer as well, just to as a backup. But yeah, just finding ways that work for you is really important to manage your workload, because the last thing you want to do is not be organized and then have deadlines that you've not met, and that will affect obviously the fee earners and then your clients. So just keeping on top of that the best way that you can for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the organisation changes as well, depending on the department that you're in.
Yeah, and how they work as well.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
one thing we have to adapt to a lot as trainees, how different departments work.
Yeah, but it's all just stuff that you kind of
pick up as you go.
And you learn what other people do, and then you figure out what works best for you.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
So moving on to that, professional skill courses. So this is something that, I don't know about you, Izzy, but during the undergrad and on the LPC, it wasn't really spoken about.
No, I didn't hear anything about it
at all. So it's a bit
of a shock. I was done with studying.
Yeah, guys, that's not true. There's more to go. So as part of, to qualify basically as a solicitor, you have to do a professional skill courses. So there are 3 core modules: your advocacy, client care, and financial and business skills. these are the ones that you have to do. So you do get paid study leave to attend these courses. And as I said, they have to be completed prior to you qualifying. So we tend to use the University of Law, specifically their Moorgate campus. But in addition to the core modules, you also have 4 elective modules that you can choose from. And this is divided into practice skills, contentious skills, non-contentious skills, and higher rights of audience. So you tend to choose what you're interested in regards to your electives. So maybe if you're in an area and interested in another area, you might use one of your PSC courses to basically find out whether it's something that you want to do, just to give you some insight. So that's something that you have to do, and academia is not over, unfortunately.
No, but it is a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, definitely.
So you might have like assessments in all of them, but
yeah,
there's only one that you
have to do an exam for.
Yeah, have to do the exam and absolutely have to pass. And
yeah, that's the
obviously you want to pass all of them.
Yeah,
but...
of course. Yeah, that's the financial and business skills one. So
Yeah.
you have to do an exam for that.
But pressure-wise, it's not something really to worry too much about.
It's not as intense as the undergrad or the LPC for that matter.
No. That is, obviously you get paid leave to go and do that study leave. And then on top of that, you also get additional benefits and support. So there are other kinds of training that you might be asked to do. So dictation training, time recording, complaints training, which hopefully you never need.
Yeah.
Compliance training, and all of it. You can sort of discuss with the training principal, and our training principal at the minute is currently
Katie Boardfield.
Yeah.
And also, if there's something that you think that you need more help with, or you want training on, like, everyone is very open to ideas and things like that, and providing the extra support and training.
I've needed extra accounts training.
Because
I didn't need it for the whole of my first seat, and then suddenly I got into commercial property and
this is a
I had to transfer something, and I had absolutely no clue what I was doing.
So this is something we will be raising with Katie, and I'm sure will be in place soon. So exactly, just like that. So that is something that you can raise. We also have catch-ups with our training principal, which is really, really useful, and a mentor scheme.
So you can sort of just go out for coffee with your mentor, have a catch up, or lunch, see how you're doing, how you're getting on, and then obviously if you have any concerns or anything like that you want to raise, but you don't want to sort of go the more formal route and talk to your training principal or speak to your supervisor or something like that.
You just have that person.
Yeah, you have that person you can lean on and ask, what did you do when you were training? Like, if you
just
felt
get
that
some
way.
Insight.
Yeah, and it's just a bit more personal. You can just be a bit more informal and really get a bit more
one-to-one.
Yeah, one-to-one
like your person
support
within the firm is basically what it is.
Yeah. And then on top of that, so we have an open door policy. So like I said, the mentor scheme is really informal, but also just everyone's generally really easy to talk to. Our open door policy means that you can literally just walk into someone's office and say, can I just grab you for a minute? I want to run something past you. And everyone's always more than happy to give you, the time of day and give you their insight and their advice. And generally what everyone wants is for you to succeed. It's not I know some places can be competitive. It's not like that at all. Everyone just wants to see everyone do well. It's a really supportive environment, and that is true the whole way up the ladder. So our managing director Chris, you could just walk into his office and say, Chris, can I start to give you a lesson? And he's always got the time of day. Yeah, exactly. And then obviously going back down the chain, all the trainee solicitors are really friendly as well. We all sort of chat to each other at lunch, and you can always just give someone a call, or I think we have a WhatsApp group as well. And I think that's something they carry on as people join and things like that.
Just so you have that extra support and can get in touch
and
with
everyone's
people.
going through the same things as well.
It's nice to...
whatever problems you have, someone's going to have had it in their first, second, third seat. So that's a really good thing. And then obviously the secretaries as well, they are an absolute fountain of knowledge.
Fully. A
lot of the time you'll get sat next to secretaries. So I know in litigation I was sat with the secretaries, Charlie and Teresa, and I must have harassed them no end with questions, and how they were not sick of me, I don't know. But Yeah, they just made life so much easier.
Yeah.
And they just seem to know everything.
Yeah, no,
which
they're
I
really,
felt like I completely didn't.
no, they're a really good first point of call to go to. A lot of them have been here such a long time as well. They're just a wealth of knowledge. So yeah, they're definitely, that's a good point of call. There's also an expectation to time record. So we don't have targets per se as trainees, but they do ask us to try to aim for a minimum of 4 hours a day. I know some places can be quite strict in regards to what they want you to time record, but for us it's mostly your what you charge for and any work that you do on a file.
Yeah, it seems like something. When I first heard that we did that, I just thought, like, you have to record every 6 minutes of your day. That is bonkers. How am I ever going to remember to do that? But no, it is something that actually does start to come quite naturally.
Yeah, it takes a while, but you get there.
And they're quite relaxed about it.
Yeah.
So it's not, no
There's
one's
not
timing your toilet breaks.
Yeah,
or, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But no, it does. You just sort of get used to it, and it does start coming a bit easier, and you sort of think, oh, I spent 20 minutes typing this up. And no one's monitoring it in a way that's like, oh, you've spent way too much time on that, because everyone appreciates that you're learning and things are going to take you a really long time to begin with, and that is fine.
Yeah, and we do have codes as well so if you are doing some research, just like as a trainee, you just want to make sure that you understand the instructions, like you can put that down as training time, so that your supervisor or like the training principal is aware. But again, they're like, you're not questioned about these kind of things, so there's no pressure. But it just makes it easier, like just to have it on record that that's what you were doing, and that's why it took so long to work on this legal document, for example.
And research as well. I feel like half my day is spent with research and commercial property.
Making sure.
So I don't want to do things badly, so I'm always just sort of double checking on PLC and looking at the precedents and how mine compares and things like that.
Exactly.
But that's, that is what solicitors do.
Yeah, they do the same thing.
Yeah, they do exactly the same thing, and that's fine. You're allowed to spend however long you spend researching.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to make you better and your work better, and
100%.
That's what it's all about. As well as that, we also have with our training principal, and then also with our heads of department or our supervisor, we also have the mid-seat reviews and end-of-seat reviews, and that's really just to talk about how you feel you're doing, the sort of skills that you've picked up and the things that you've observed.
Or the things that you want to start working on, maybe.
And you can flag your own concerns with them as well. So I know that in my mid-seat review in litigation, I mentioned that it would be quite interesting to see a bit more about billing and kind of the admin side of things, because obviously as trainees, we don't run our own files, and that's not something that we see. But they were absolutely more than happy to talk me through it and show me how things are done and things like that, like whatever you want to see that's going to help your training.
Raise it. That's the time to raise it.
They're going to be more than happy to show you. So I found that really useful actually, and it's really good for recognition, because sometimes it can be quite ambiguous, daunting and ambiguous, and you want to know
that
how
feedback, that reassurance that you're on the right track at least.
It can be good for someone to tell you, oh yeah, you did that really well. So I thought that was a good part of it. And on top of that as well, we have a benefit package.
That varies. So we have a beauty treatments so a lady comes in and you can get head massages, back massages.
Oh yeah, she is magic.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
Have you not had one?
Not yet.
Oh my gosh, I can't leave her alone. I think she's unreal. Yeah,
I've literally heard so much good things about her. So we have that. We also have discounts for the gym and for other places, so Whitehead Moncton benefits scheme. So it's a website, and then it basically tells us all the stores and places where we can get discounts on. And I know we have like 2 major gyms that we can get discounts with as well, like corporate discounts.
Yeah, I think a few people do that.
That kind of thing. So that's what we have going.
And then we have the classic pension scheme,
and the standard
healthcare plan, that kind of thing as well.
That's all tied up in that. And then we also have Dress for Your Day. So this is if you don't have meetings, you're not expected to come in, suited and booted, like blazer on. You can be slightly more casual, still professional, but slightly more casual. And So yeah, we have Dress for Your Day. That's kind of what that is, which is great because sometimes you just want a more comfortable day.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, that's something that depends on the department, because some departments don't really do meetings.
Yeah.
Whereas some have, you know, clients, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that depends on the department. But generally, I think it's formal, but not in an oppressive way.
Yeah.
You can still dress like you.
Yeah.
So that's quite nice, I think.
Yeah. And that,
as Mary knows, because Mary is currently wearing the most fabulous outfit ever.
Is it? Put me on the spot. It's got me blushing now, guys. Yeah. So that kind of rounds off our talk on the trainee application process.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about how you found it personally? Or?
Yeah. So far, I'm really enjoying it. So my first C, which is the tax and estate department, as I mentioned, I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would, even because it's not, you know, it's dealing with wills and, you know, people dying sadly, but it's not as dark and grim as you would think it to be. You know, these are people who want to make sure that they've got things in place, so things are easier for their families. And I really enjoy the meetings and getting to, you know, speak with these people, learn about their families and like hear some funny stories every once in a while, and you know, then do the work for them and see like how rewarding that is. So I'm really enjoying like the meeting aspects of things. Yeah, it's going really good so far. I'm in Tenterden at the moment, as I mentioned, and there's such a lovely bunch. So yeah, a little family over there, and it's just been really, really great. What about you? How have you been finding it?
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it as well. So as I said as well, my first seat was in litigation, and that was something that or dispute resolution, sorry, I should say. That was something that I was quite surprised to enjoy, because you do dispute resolution on the LPC, and it is,
honestly,
I hate to say it, but it is the most dry and boring subject. And then you come in and suddenly there's like real meat on the bones, and you interact with clients and you sort of hear their stories. It is, yeah,
it makes such a massive difference to just having a textbook case,
and it's a person's life, and you're contributing to doing something to hopefully make it better. They come to you with a problem, and you know, you kind of
help resolve that,
untangle that situation for them as best you can. And that touch wood makes it a lot better. And it definitely made studying dispute resolution worth it. It does get better, I promise. But yeah, I found that really interesting. And as well, going to court and seeing mediations, and you interact with professionals that you don't normally interact with in your own office. And I found that really interesting, and hearing sort of how a barrister works compared to how a solicitor works, and then how a mediator works compared to how a solicitor works, it's all so interesting. And you see the sort of nuanced differences in what they do compared to what you do, and why.
Then picking up, I guess, like what you want to take from that, and
exactly.
to be a well-rounded solicitor when you qualify, I guess.
Exactly. Everyone you interact with, really, you learn something from, and I think that's the point of it, isn't it, really? But no, it's really enjoyable, actually. I say that with a tone of surprise, because I was surprised.
No, that's really good. That's really good. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.